our brand new fundraiser flyer that's out. I'm very, very excited. We have a picture of it up here. And it is actually a little book that Tupperware has put together of some exclusive products that we can offer through our fundraising lines. We're going to just talk about the nuts and bolts of how a fundraiser works. The first thing to know is the most important, is what every organization wants to know, is how much can we earn? And so a typical, every fundraiser every fundraiser organization will have the opportunity to earn 40% of what is sold. So if they sell $1,000, how much are they going to earn in profit? $400. That's good. So, and that's a really big number compared to wrapping paper and what are those called?
Candy.
Candy, yeah.
Cookies.
All that stuff. Pictures, cookies, all those things that I was thinking of, like raffle tickets. That's what I was thinking. Okay, now the way our profit works is the remaining 60% that is not given to the organization, we make our 25% profit from that 60%. Now that's a lot of numbers, but just imagine, think about a $1,000 fundraiser, 400 is going to go to the organization, the remaining 600, you're going to get sales credit for that amount, and you're going to get your 25% profit from there. So that's how you're going to be able to earn a little cash for yourself. We talked about that. Your sales credit is the remaining 60%. And you can see the example up here. This is a $1,000 fundraiser. How much is going to the organization? How much is going to you? And the profit that you would make on that. That profit that you make, that gives you a little bit of flexibility. You know, sometimes you're dealing with someone, you can have a fundraiser through an organization or even an individual. I've had individuals who were raising money for medical needs, for a trip that they were a school trip that they were working towards. It doesn't have to be an organization. It can actually be an individual that wants to earn that. And it's nice to have that 25% profit in there because that's a little bit of flexibility, because you can say, well, you know what, you work really hard and you make a certain goal, I'm going to give you an additional 10%, so that you can also be giving back as well. You know, I always think of fundraising as one of those ways for us to give back to the community in addition. All right, so how are the orders handled? Well, the first thing to know is that checks are made payable to the organization. That's just my recommendation. That's not a rule. Checks can be made payable to you. My personal belief is I don't want to have to take checks from a bunch of people that I don't know and take the chance of someone, maybe a check not clearing or having, you know, a funding problem. So I would rather the checks be made payable to the organization. And then when I close out the fundraiser, I'll just calculate all the orders and let the organization know the total that they collected, and then how much they need to write my check for. So they get to keep their money immediately. When we close out the fundraiser, all the funds have been collected. The organization's going to keep their profit. They're going to write me a check for my portion. I'm going to go take that, deposit it in the bank, put the orders in the computer, and then I'm going to send Tupperware their portion and keep my portion. So every step along the way, everyone's been able to keep their profit along the way. There are no credit card opportunities to use with your fundraisers. We don't take credit cards. If you do have someone that calls that maybe they can only order, you know, by paying a credit card or something like that, you could, if you have the app where you see us use it when we do the sales aids with the Square. You know, it's an app where it allows you to take credit cards. You could, you know, you do have some flexibility, but you don't want to advertise that. But just so you know, in the back of your mind, you have a little bit of flexibility if you want to. And then the way to process all of your orders, just like you do a party, I'm sure everyone who's gone in, unless you're brand new, Yvonne, and when you go in and you click on Start a New Party, you have the option for a party, a sales aid order, or a fundraiser. So it's just that simple. You click on Fundraiser, and then just follow all the directions to enter all of your fundraiser orders. There is also, just like we do our Tupper Connect with our parties, you can do a Tupper Connect with your fundraiser, and that allows people who are not local or just can't access the person that's doing the fundraising to go online and place an order. And it's connected directly to the fundraiser. You go set it up online. I will tell you, Tupperware has phenomenal tutorials and videos and descriptions and step by step on how to set up your Tupper Connect links to your fundraisers, in addition to your parties as well. So I would recommend you go through those and take a peek at that, because you can set it up and you can place orders online. The orders online are shipped directly to the customer, so it's so that you don't have to worry about handling all that, and they can process everything online. Now the way the shipping is handled, there is no shipping that the customer pays. So when we traditionally put an order together, we charge 10% shipping and handling. That is not, there is no shipping on a fundraiser order. There is a shipping cost to us or to the group. It's really to the group is the way it's set up. There's a 7% shipping and handling fee with a maximum of $20. So no fundraiser will pay more than $20 shipping and handling. Now the way that I would recommend that you let when you're talking to an organization about possibly doing a fundraiser, is that you let them know there's the ins and outs of everything. And as you go through it, you say there is a one-time shipping and handling fee of 7% with a maximum of $20. You'll never pay more than $20 as a processing fee for all the shipping and handling for your fundraiser. But I like to set a goal for them and say, but you know what, when your fundraiser reaches $800 in sales, $1,000 in sales, I'm going to go ahead and pay that $20 shipping and handling fee, so that you can kind of work with your fundraiser, give them something to work towards. And that's just something you can choose to do. You have, again, having that 25% profit, the little flexibility, that's helpful. And then you have to put the fundraiser all together. There is no option in the fundraiser order for you to be able to ship directly to a customer. If you did have the Tupper Connect set up online, you could do something like that, where you could go online and process it and send it in.
Tupper Connect, when they do that, are they picking from the
Fundraiser line, yes. Yeah. That's a good question. The fundraiser catalog's online, so when they do the Tupper Connect, they're seeing what exactly they would see if they went and saw the book firsthand. All right, sales tax. The way the sales tax is included is, or calculated, is just like typical. The sales tax is going to be for wherever it's being shipped. That's how the sales tax is going to be calculated. When I put my packets together to distribute to the members that are going to be participating in the fundraiser, I always include a tax chart. You can Google whatever percentage tax chart you want, and they come up. And I prefer the ones that are half of a page size, so that they don't have to use a calculator. And they can just look, and it says if someone made a $25 purchase, if I have an 8.25% sales tax chart, and they can just take and follow the chart, and it says, all right, I need to charge them whatever it would be, whatever their purchase would be. So we do have to charge sales tax. Sometimes you're going to have an opportunity to have a fundraiser with organizations that are tax exempt, a church, a school, or something like that. They are not, those fundraisers are not tax exempt because it's not the church or the group that's purchasing the product, it's the customers. It's the moms, the dads, the neighbors, the aunts, the uncles. They're the ones that are purchasing it, so they have to be charged tax. So even though the organization is tax exempt, they're not the end user. They're not the purchasers of the product. The purchasers of the product, the end user, is going to be the people who the Tupperware is going into their kitchen. They're taxable. They have to pay tax. All right. Couple other little things to know about. Incentives. Why would we want to offer incentives? And incentives just depend on which group you're dealing with. You can find fundraisers from daycares, little small daycares, big organization daycares, karate studios. They're always in competitions and traveling, and they need to raise funds for that. It's amazing how much fundraising goes on in all these different organizations. Cheerleading groups, dance groups. They're always raising money and doing some type of fundraiser because they need to travel to different competitions. I just talked to a lady about a fundraiser. Her son is in baseball, and they travel all over in these baseball tournaments, and apparently it's expensive to get into these tournaments. It costs a lot of money. For uniforms, all these different types of things. So you can find fundraisers everywhere. What I recommend with the incentives is that you talk to the coordinator of the fundraiser. Sometimes you're going to be in, I've done it several little daycare ones, and they didn't want incentives. They did not want any type of awards or prizes. They didn't want anything like that at all. Other times it was daycares, and we just did little surprise packs because the kids are 4 years old. They're not selling the Tupperware, the parents are. So your incentive person is the parents that you're working towards, specifically probably the moms who are out there, selling the products and stuff. And so their goal was, number one would get a $100 surprise pack in sales, and number two would get a $50 and a $25. So you could set something up like that. Sometimes a pizza party. Little Caesars has $5 pizzas. You can do pizza parties very inexpensively. and just go in and get cheese pizzas and see if there's any allergies first. That's a big one to ask nowadays in schools. You want to make sure there's no allergies if you're bringing any type of food into any organization with kids. So think about your incentives, who's the incentive for, and some places don't even want incentives, so you just kind of have to tailor that to whichever group that you're working with. All right, and then I always think it's fun to have some type of a tracking device, set a goal with your organization, and then track it as maybe you set up the fundraiser is going to go for 2 weeks. That's a typical time for a fundraiser. And every 3 or 4 days, I might go in and put up a sign that shows their goal. Maybe you draw a picture of a thermometer, something simple, and you've got different levels, and you might put stickers in there. One time we did this big gumball machine, picture of a gumball machine, and we put pictures of gumballs in there, and it was full. We made it to our goal, and you just put different levels. Just have some fun with it. It's kind of like one of those things where if you keep it in front of the parents as they're coming to pick up the kids from the dance studio, or they're dropping them off, they're like, oh, that's right, I got to get on that fundraiser. Because we're all super busy. We need nice reminders. And, everybody wants to be a part of something bigger. So it's nice whenever they can say, oh, okay, I'm helping us meet our goal. So keeping in contact and letting your participants know where you're at, that's very, very helpful. Now, who needs fundraisers? We talked a little bit about this already, but here's just some ideas. As you drive around and you see car washes happening, and has anybody ever seen a little bake sale happening? Right? Those are the people that we go, you're raising money. We need to talk to you. So you would want to go approach them and say, hey, what are you guys raising money for? Who is your coordinator? And I do recommend you keep some fundraiser information on you so that at any time, just like that, you could talk to someone about a potential fundraiser. One time, even in schools, sometimes you have to, like let's say HISD, you have to be an approved vendor to go into school. So when you get into large PTO groups and things like that, there's a lot of chain of commands you have to go through. But sometimes there's going to be small groups within the school that would be able to do a fundraiser for you that's a little bit easier to get into, that's not the big giant PTO. You still have to be an approved vendor, but it's a little bit easier because it might be, it's been years since I did this fundraiser, but they were going on a trip to somewhere far away. They were going on a trip, and they were raising funds for it. It was like the Spanish club, or it was something like that, the French club, and they were going somewhere, they were traveling, and she wanted to do a fundraiser. And she happened to be a hostess of mine, mentioned fundraising at the party. Try to plug that, every time you can, because you'd be surprised how many people are like, oh yeah, I'm part of a group, we need to do that. All right, so now how can you get your information out there and talk to people about it? Well, ask people at your parties, just mentioned that one. Look for the car washes, the bake sales. Go get your car washed, help them out, and then find out, what are you raising money for? Find out who the contact person is. That car wash is not going to be their last step. If they're doing a car wash, they're doing a lot of work to make not a lot of money. So they're really needing your help. So you want to talk to them, even though they're doing that fundraiser, they're probably doing 10 more to try to work towards doing that. I can remember being in high school. You guys ever participate in a fundraiser? I can remember being in high school. Our drill team was chosen to go to Hawaii for the halftime performance in the Pro Bowl. And we had to raise, and I'm old, so this is a long time ago, we had to raise $1,000. I think can you imagine back then how much $1,000 was worth? Yeah. I mean, my goodness. But we did so many fundraisers, and that happens every single day. So you just have to get your information out there. I think it's fun to go to smaller places, smaller dance studios, smaller daycares, because you get to work with the owners and the directors one-on-one. I've been out many, many times just walking into, looking for fundraisers, walking into daycares, and I might just say something like, is the director available? If I can talk to the director, great. If I can't talk to the director, they're like, oh, she's kind of busy right now. I say, okay, my name's Inke, I'm a Tupperware fundraising director. I'm out in this area. I was helping a couple of other daycares in the area with a fundraiser, and they weren't familiar with Tupperware. They didn't know Tupperware gave back 40% profit to the organization. So I just thought I'd drop by and give my information in case you guys ever do any fundraising. So I want to put out there, the key things to that is I'm with Tupperware, and I'm in the fundraising department.